So I'm just going to do another video on jungle culture in Latin America. Specifically, Ecuador and the natives, the Quechua. No, the Quechua, not Quechua. Quechua is Peru. I believe it's Peru. I don't think it's in Ecuador. Anyways, I just did a video on jungle culture in Ecuador, my experience. And I said I was going to do another video on South American culture, or maybe more. I think I'll do another on jungle culture now, and maybe one or two more on Latin America culture in general. Uh, Sorry that my voice is weird. I realized that my voice was changing a lot through my other video. It's because I've been speaking in a hell of a lot of Spanish recently, and I speak Spanish with this accent sometimes when I talk to my girlfriend or people who are native English speakers, because they understand it better than they understand English with my normal accent. So if I flitter between 1 to 4 accents, sorry, I can't really help that at the moment, but it's just how it is. But yeah, basically in the last one I was talking about how hard it is in the jungle, but I didn't really talk about the rewards of it and what the rest of the culture. Just that men work very hard there and women work very hard there, and it's difficult. But yeah, other aspects to it. People are a lot more freer. They're very wary, but they're also more welcoming. For example, if I want to hang out with the locals, because there's only 300 people in this village I was at, and in the middle of the fucking jungle, away from everyone, just run around with the kids, do whatever shit. You're a lot freer there in a lot of senses. There's not a lot of this sense of bigger society, this sense of established rules. It doesn't really exist. Just don't kill anyone or fuck with the local politics too much, and you're alright. You can get into a fight pretty much every day with pretty much everyone there, and no one's gonna care a day after, because every day is very different in the jungle, and people get angry more and people get happy more there because it's more extreme, and the people end up being more extreme as a result. For example, if you suddenly have really bad news, or there's particularly bad flooding for a day, it might fuck up your whole house, and you're going to be angry at everyone, and the whole village will have to deal with it. And the day after, you're probably going to get over it more and more, and they're not going to care, and you're not going to care, and they all know this, and they're all used to living day by day, so they're a lot more forgiving in terms of this. And yeah, there's also the other extremes, this extreme joy from this. When I wasn't ill, and sometimes you're looking around and it's all natural, it's all wonderful, whilst a lot of my body was going to shit, obviously from the hard labor and the disease. My muscles were in pain at times, and it was hard, I was fatigued, but I could just feel from that work that I was doing just how much stronger I was, and my lungs as well. At first it really took a battering because I've been smoking a lot before. I had a couple of weeks of very hard labor after smoking like crazy for a few weeks, and I mean like 40 to 50 a day. It was really fucking my lungs, but as well the bacteria fuck your lungs, all the humidity. But after a few weeks of it, you just feel extremely strong. You feel if you're a man, I can't speak for women, but I felt like a man. I had all the testosterone, my sex drive was up. I felt like the man when I was out there. If you look at me now, I'm an average looking guy. I got a bit of muscle, but not really. I'm a skinny fuck, not very strong at all. Little bit bigger out there, a little bit stronger, hell of a lot stronger out there. I destroyed these city people in seconds out there. So yeah, you feel the benefits on your body. I feel as though if I were there for another 4 or 5 months, I would have very much got used to a lot of the diseases out there and a lot of the bacteria as well. My immune system would have been excellent. I feel like after I left, my immune system, about a month after I left, I could feel it was massively damaged, but it felt a lot stronger than it had ever really been about a month after. I felt like it's pretty much immune to everything, and now I eat all the street fruit and all the raw shit in the rest of Latin America. It's just nothing for me compared to what I was putting my immune system through in the jungle. It's nothing. But yeah, back onto the beauty side of it. Everyone, there's plenty of space. There's not many people in most of this space, so yeah, a lot of the time you or the natives or whoever will be with whoever, or you'll be alone, and you'll be in the middle of very dense jungle, and well, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's rather very beautiful. You'll be right next to a gigantic river, very crystal clear, very beautiful to swim in. It's the right temperature to swim in. You're feeling extremely physically strong. You're looking at nature, the raw nature, no distractions, no humans. Let's. I remember being on top of a hillside, and everything's covered in trees. Everything is jungle trees. Looking down, and it's this massive river. I can see all the waves. I can see the Andean mountain range far in the distance, and the Amazon. It's where the Andean mountains are meeting the Amazon. Practically, is where I was in Ecuador. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing place to be. The project as well. I have to give credit to the man from the project. I'm not going to mention his name or links here because I'm not sure if that would be his thing. But yeah, the project was amazing. The man from the project, very understanding, very good man. And yeah, there's something about being out there, which is what I went for. That it is amazing. You feel at peace with nature. I remember when I first arrived in one part of Ecuador that was quite close to the jungle, but it was like a town. I could hear the sound of the cars. I can hear here in Lima. It's not the same in Lima. It's a desert. It's dead. It's a big city. But I remember in Ecuador just going to sleep, and I could hear all the cars, but at the same time I could hear birds tweeting, different insects, and this was a constant background noise. It was beautiful, right? Then when I went to the jungle, in the day sometimes there was the sound of motorbikes and sometimes the sound of people playing football. But for the most, even during the day, I just hear crickets. I can hear all kinds of random insects, frogs, everything, the waves moving. There's something about that. I don't understand what it is that it makes you feel warm. It makes you feel welcome. It's not like if you watch a movie and you're like, wow, I feel encapsulated, because it was an extreme stimulation of the senses. It definitely feels natural. It feels normal. It feels right when you hear these sounds. And as more and more time goes by, you notice it less and feel it more. What I mean by that is you don't realize how different it is to the city, and you don't care. You feel more a part of this. You can feel these movements going. You can feel that when something changes, there's going to be too much water in the morning. You can feel how things are going to go because you're so in touch with your biology. You're so in touch with the rhythms of what's going on naturally. And this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. I've experienced this in England and Australia as well, because I've spent, days camping, and I've spent 10 to 20 hours before walking or or jogging for exercise, and I've experienced this there before, but not to quite this level. This was entirely different. The fragility of it made things more beautiful. The fact that things were so dangerous all the time, it made things more beautiful. And you worry less when it's dangerous all the time, because initially you're thinking, I'm going to die, poisonous snakes, I'm ill. After a month or so of this, you're just like, I'm ill again. Okay, no problem. What a beautiful day. Well, I better get on with this hard labor that I have to do. It's nice today. It's a little easier. It's actually very beautiful. And I can understand why people want to escape to the jungle for this. There's something about the jungle you can't get anywhere else. There's something very natural about it. It's hard to explain, but basically your body just... your body understands things more. You feel things through you more. And sometimes it's awful. Sometimes it's like there's a war going on. Sometimes you can feel the violence of nature around you. But it's beautiful nonetheless. And you feel. I remember after being out of there for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, leaving the jungle. And, I mentally I could say I'm better. Things are better here. But I didn't feel that connection with myself in the same way. And sometimes that's good. It was good because I recovered my body. I got out of that. But at the same time, yes, there's definitely a profound connection that comes from living in the jungle and living in nature in general. But it comes at a cost as well. That's the reality of it. And it's not easy like people think. It's a very, very, very hard life, actually. And yeah, now on to a bit more of the culture. A lot of people probably think that in the Amazon it's all these crazy sacred tribes and in their traditional gear and whatever. This doesn't really exist that much, except extremely, extremely deep in the Amazon with fanatical tribes where there's 10 or 12 people. But these people don't want to be contacted, they don't want to be talked to. And they're the extreme people of the tribes. They're not the normal tribes people. There's plenty of native people in Ecuador who just live in villages in the jungle, and they're trying to become more advanced, but they also want to live with the jungle at the same time. They don't want to be out in the middle of the jungle with 10 other people having to face that shit. It's hard and difficult, and it's frankly not worth the reward to them. They want all the Western stuff. They want the cameras. They want the internet. They want the easy money. They want the gringo foods like the chocolate bars and all this processed shit. And can you blame them, really? It's easy for us in the West to say, but they're living such a normal life and it's beautiful, but they've never been there. They haven't been to the jungle like I have or like these people have. Just experienced how fucking difficult it is. There's a reason why we progressed to this, why we decided to start fucking building things and making shitty processed food and chemicals. It's because it might not be as great a quality of life a lot of the time. It might be quite lazy and quite easy and quite boring in a lot of ways. But it's a hell of a lot safer, it's a hell of a lot easier, and it's a hell of a lot more guaranteed, These medicines keep you alive for a long time. When you've got nice brick buildings, it's a lot harder for animals, large animals to get in. When you've got sanitation systems and all this kind of stuff, it makes your life a lot easier. It doesn't necessarily make it better, it doesn't necessarily make you happier, but it definitely makes it easier. And when you lived in that for a long time, I can understand. And as for all these rituals and this traditional gear, most of the natives, the ones that I met, the Quechua natives, they're quite ashamed of this. They don't want to be seen as these savages who wear dresses and live in the bush. They just kind of want to live in the communities. They wear normal clothes and whatever. When you go to these rituals and all these spiritual things these Westerns go to, these are just specific areas where people are employed as part of the tourism industry to act spiritual, talk bullshit, and make the tourists feel happy. That's pretty much it. In reality, most of the natives and most of the people living out here don't want to do this bullshit. And they have a lot more serious faith in the actual shamans. The people who do the shamans for the ayahuasca ceremonies and the shamans in these made-up villages for tourists, they're not shamans. They're not anything to do with these traditional people, really. They're just making money. And everyone knows this, nobody cares, but the Westerners seem to think that they've been on some spiritual journey and was really touching, and this is what it's really like for the villagers. But they go on these tour guides to see it. They don't actually live with these people. They don't understand that these people just want to live life, shit out a few kids, chill with the kids, try and make it as easy as they can, and they don't want to have this weird natural lifestyle because it's hard. They like the nature. It's nice to look at, but they don't want to work 90 hours a week to stay alive and act like animals for their whole life. It is really only just a few very very isolated tribes who are quite insane. They're quite the outcasts of the tribal people and the people in Latin America and the natives in general. A lot of the more serious mystics and such are out there, but yeah, they're not the norm. Actually, the norm is people very similar to us with a lot less education, a hell of a lot less education, a bit more superstitious and a bit more believing of things that don't make sense. But pretty much the same as us. We've got less money, less tech, and got to work harder. They like the beauty of the nature, but at the same time, they want the technology and all the commodities we have. They're not worried about this whole slave era crap. They're not worried about this cultural appropriation, all this bullshit. They just want to enjoy their shit. I pretty much guarantee if I go out there in my in their traditional tribal dress and start dancing, the kids are just going to start laughing and the adults are just going to wonder what the hell this weird gringo's doing, have a drink and continue living and not really give a shit. So I don't understand all these city people who are part native or fully native who are going on about desecrating my culture. The people hard in the jungle don't give a fuck. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.